On today's Viva ENT Rock, Pop, and Soul, we're talking about the career of Southern rock legends Lynyrd Skynyrd. The band formed in Jacksonville, Florida in 1964 and originally were called My Backyard. They consisted of Ronnie Van Zant on vocals, Gary Rossington on guitar, Alan Collins on guitar, Larry Junstrom on bass, and Bob Burns on drums. The band spent 5 years touring small venues under various names and with several lineup changes before deciding on Lynyrd Skynyrd in 1968. The band released its first album called Pronounced Lynyrd Skynyrd in 1973. By then, they had settled on a lineup that included bassist Leon Wilkinson, keyboardist Billy Powell, and guitarist Ed Kings. Burns left and was replaced by Adamus Pyle in 74. King left in 75 and was replaced by Steve Gaines in 76. And at the height of their fame in the 70s, the band popularized the Southern rock genre with songs such as Sweet Home Alabama and Freebird. After releasing 5 studio albums and 1 live album, the band's career was abruptly halted on October 20th, 1977, when their chartered airplane crashed, killing Van Zant, Steve Gaines, and backup singer Cassie Gaines, and seriously injuring the rest of the band. Lynyrd Skynyrd reformed in 1987 for a reunion tour with Ronnie's brother Johnny Van Zant as lead vocalist, and they continued to tour and record with co-founder Rossington. Members were still working on the band's 15th album at the time of Rossington's death in 2023, after which no founding members remained in the band. In 2004, Rolling Stone magazine ranked Lynyrd Skynyrd number 95 on its list of the 100 greatest artists of all time. Lynyrd Skynyrd was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame March 13, 2006. As of 2023, the band has sold more than 28 million records in the United States. The band hit the Northwest on Saturday, September 21st, when they play the White River Amphitheater in Auburn, along with ZZ Top on the Sharp Dressed Simple Man Tour.
Ladies and gentlemen, guys and dolls, cats and chicks, you're listening to Viva ENT, Rock, Pop, and Soul. I'm Devin, the video dude.
Hey, video dudes! You living on video?
I'm seems like we are
Laser rays and purple skies,
living in a movie. And
all the world's a stage.
No kidding. Three shows a day around this town.
That's right.
And I'm on board the train with Darren Camp here. You got the call back, yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having me back on again, guys. Glad to be here.
Welcome, welcome.
We couldn't do this without the greatest producer ever in any place and time. It's Eric.
Hey, it's me, Eric. CC Rider!
Woohoo! Keep you satisfied.
That's right.
Well, today on the program, we are discussing Lynyrd Skynyrd, and we're seeing them on Saturday night, Saturday night special.
Yeah, that's going to be a great show.
With ZZ Top opening at White River Amphitheater.
The sharp-dressed Simple Man tour.
Indeed. And I could not be more excited because I've seen Lynyrd Skynyrd, a tribute to them, and they did a great job. But
Is that Howard Comfort's band?
That's one of Howard Comfort's
that's right.
many tribute bands.
Yeah, no, very cool, very cool.
But I've never seen Lynyrd Skynyrd, but you have.
I did see them once, back in 1993, and saw them with Bad Company. And, of course, both of those bands at that time sort of reformed, from earlier bands, iterations of the band. But great show. They had Johnny Van Zant, the younger brother of Ronnie Van Zant, singing the vocals for the band at that point. So it sounded, of course, very similar to the old stuff, which was pretty cool, I thought.
Definitely. And Eric, have you seen them or?
I haven't seen them. Lynyrd Skynyrd is a band that, of course, I've known the name all my life. And, of course, I've been to many a show where people shouted out for Freebird, even though Lynyrd Skynyrd weren't playing. And, of course, I've heard Sweet Home Alabama, and, of course, I've heard Freebird.
Simple Man.
I just did that a couple weeks ago at a show that was so unrelated to Lynyrd Skynyrd, but the singer actually said, "Hey, does anybody want to hear any songs?" And I yelled out "Freebird."
So you're the guy.
I am that
guy. Well, I'm not going to hold that against you for this hour. But it is, it's one of those things where they must get driven insane by people shouting out for Freebird. I wonder if they start their shows with Freebird just so they can get on
and then play it again. Probably the ending song.
The funny thing is, and
every other song would be Freebird when they play.
I was already telling people the other day that right when they walk on stage down there at White River, I feel like I just should yell it out right from the get go, right before they even start, sort of tuning up or warming up or anything. Just be that guy.
Not even their biggest hit by a long shot, but one of those ones that people just love to hear live, apparently.
Yeah, well, it's a classic.
What I was trying to say is, I've never really been a fan of the group, but they have one of those dramatic rock and roll stories that, is very interesting. Even if you're, just a casual listener and hearing the occasional song on the radio, it's one of those, crazy, wild stories. And the fact that they came back from what they came back from is pretty amazing. And, the fact that they're still around, even with, maybe one or two guys from the original lineup. So,
sure. Yeah.
They are the definitive Southern rock band. And according to Rolling Stone magazine, number 95 of the 100 greatest artists of all time. So.
Wow. Well, to be on that top 100 is surely, hard to do. So that's kudos to them.
And they made the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2006. And as of 2023, have sold over 28 million records.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you probably have a few records of them. You did back in the day.
I did back in the day. As I said last week, I don't collect records anymore. But yeah, of course, I had some, Street Survivors and some of the big records of theirs back in the day. Sure.
Well, they're gone this Tuesday. Tuesday's gone. So.
With the wind.
Well, their first single came out in 1973 and didn't chart. It was actually their third single in 1974 that put them on the map from their second album called Second Helping. Sweet Home Alabama went to number 8 in the charts, and it's still one of their best known and most beloved songs. And this song, of course, well known for taking a swipe at Neil Young, who had a song called Southern Man before this.
And also, I think Kid Rock sampled this for that one song of his.
Oh, probably,
yeah.
I think Kid Rock got a lot of his ideas from Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Yeah.
The few that he had.
So they sold millions of copies with most of their songs, but Sweet Home Alabama was their only single to crack to crack 10 million.
Yeah, I was just about to say, if that song is not a classic rock like legend staple, if it's not, I will eat my hat.
Right, and it's a response song to Neil Young.
Yeah.
Neil Young's Southern Man song.
Yeah.
It's a different tone about the South.
Oh,
right, yeah.
But
Neil Young was not too complimentary.
So if Neil Young had never written Southern Man,
we may not have ever had that song.
Would have never written that song, and we maybe never would have heard of Lynyrd Skynyrd at all.
Right.
But they weren't really rivals. They were actually fans of each other's music, and Neil Young wrote the song Powderfinger for the band, but they never recorded it.
Oh, okay. But I didn't know that. That's cool.
Their time was kind of cut short though in 1977 with the plane crash. That was like, but we'll get to that. This is still 1973 where they're just coming up, and they're opening up on the Who's Quadrophenia tour and building a fan base in the early 70s.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, 1974 yielded their other big hit. Actually, the follow-up to Sweet Home Alabama was Freebird, which, as we discussed, is one of their, most talked about and most shouted for songs. And it went to number 19 in 1974. And it actually was released from their debut album. So the debut album, pronounced Lynyrd Skynyrd, what's the title of it? They released a single from that after the success of Sweet Home Alabama from the second album, Second Helping.
Right. And of course, this song is a tribute to Charlie the Bird Parker.
Interesting.
Famous jazz legend.
It's about 10 minutes long.
Yeah, it's like 9:48 or something.
Yeah, it is a 9-minute single.
Got quite the intro here.
So amazing it did as well as it did.
Sure, for being such a long song.
Right.
I'm sure there was a radio edit, though.
Would you still remember me?
Great slide guitar.
Traveling on now. There's too many places I've got to see.
Written by guitarist Alan Collins and lead singer Ronnie Van Zant. The song was, as I said, part of their debut studio album.
Things just couldn't be the same.
Pronounced Lynyrd Skynyrd.
That's right.
'Cause I'm as free as a bird now. And this bird you cannot change. Oh, and the bird you cannot change.
The song dedicated to the memory of Dwayne Allman by the band in their live shows.
From probably the other most prolific Southern rock band, the Allman Brothers.
Right. Gary Rossington stated the record company executives initially felt the song was too long and wouldn't get any airplay. It needed to be shortened to 3 or 3.5 minutes for radio. Also, the band was told, why would you ruin a pretty song like that with a wild LSD-type ending? And Rossington stated that the band refused to change the length of the song and that they weren't changing their ways. Hell no.
Oh, so maybe there wasn't a radio edit.
I'm glad they stood their ground
Yeah.
because it became one of ubiquitous anthems in the classic rock canon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
An interviewer asked Ronnie Van Zant what the song meant, and Van Zant replied that, in essence, that the song is what it means to be free, in that a bird can fly wherever he wants to go. He further stated that everyone wants to be free. That's what the country's all about.
Yeah.
And this is after Free as a Bird, the Beatles. Actually, Free
No.
as a Bird, that was later done, wasn't that? That was
Yeah.
It was
later
done,
release.
Actually, it was originally sort of started before that and then finished after that, maybe?
Right. That was a John Lennon demo that later got finished by the Beatles and
Exactly.
released. Yeah.
Yeah, later when the anthology stuff came out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
But a very similar lyrical theme.
Yeah.
So 1976, they were doing So Hot, and then 1977, these artists need to stop flying in choppers or planes because it's
Well, we got
scary.
to get around somehow.
Yeah, I guess so. It's just a dangerous world out there.
Yeah. Yeah, very sad.
That they lost like half the band in 77.
Yeah, in a plane crash. Yeah.
3 days after the release of the group's fifth studio album, Street Survivors.
Yeah, that was a great album, too.
And What's Your Name was on that album.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a great song.
Yeah, that was a huge hit for the band. But before that, Saturday Night Special in 1975 from their Nothing Fancy album was a hit. It went to number 27.
Well, this is one of my favorite songs by them. So
Yeah, we just listened to that on the way in.
Like a black cat do, and two bodies are laying naked. A creeper think he got nothing to lose, so he creeps into this house here and unlocks the door. And as the man's reaching for his trousers, shoots him full of a 38 holes. Mr. Saturday Night Special, got a barrel that's blue and cold. They ain't good for nothing, but put a man 6 feet in a hole.
Yeah, from the aptly titled Nothing Fancy album, which would have been their third record.
Yeah, great song that one is.
well, what's your favorite song by them?
Let me.
Or Eric, do you have one that comes to mind?
I'm thinking maybe Tuesday's Gone with the Wind. That might be up there pretty far.
Nice. Yeah, I can't say that I'm a huge Lynyrd Skynyrd fan, so I'm getting familiar with a lot of this music as we do the show today. But it's interesting.
We'll see which one stands out to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, they have a lot. I mean, they have a lot of good hits, I think.
I do remember What's Your Name being big when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm. Give Me 3 Steps.
Yeah, let's hear some of that now.
Yeah.
Well, it's 8 o'clock in
This
the
song is
morning.
another great song about touring.
Yeah, number 13 hit in 1977.
Mister, take us to the show. I've done made some plans for later on tonight. I'll find a little queen and I know I can treat her right. What's your name, little girl? What's your name? Shooting you straight, little girl, won't you do the same?
Yeah, that just epitomized that southern country boogie rock sound that was big in America in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Still popular today in some places. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, some music is timeless.
Every dive bar in the country is going to be playing that at some point.
Karaoke. And they made it on the Guitar Hero. I remember the Freebird is like, you better make sure you play every note right, otherwise you're going to be restarting that song.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Because Darren will be there shouting out Freebird while you're trying to play it.
You didn't get it right. Play Freebird right.
Are you familiar with swamp music?
Swamp music?
Oh, swamp music.
Swamp music, I am not. And in fact, I thought What's Your Name was, growing up, honestly, I thought that was a terrible song. It appealed to a lot of people, which is why it became a smash hit. But I thought, this has got to be Lynyrd Skynyrd's worst song. Turns out the follow-up, I heard much later, which didn't chart. So everybody else seemed to dislike it as much as me. But the follow-up was That Smell. And I'll just play a little bit of that because it's one of these ones with what were they thinking kind of vibe to it. I know some people like it.
Yeah, well, it's about, the life of hard drugs that rock bands see and experience.
About the Doobie Brothers.
Brand new cars, oak tree in my way. There's too much coke and too much smoke. Look what's going on inside you. Ooh, that smell. Can't you smell that smell?
So one of the founding members, Alan Collins, had a car accident in 1986, and instead of going to avoid prison, he pled guilty to the DUI. He would be wheeled out on stage each night before That Smell and explain to the audience why he could no longer perform that. So that's
very sad.
I know it's a sad history to this band.
Yeah, yes, they have a lot of tragedy in this band for sure.
We saw Badfinger too, another band.
Very tragic band.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I was gonna throw out there during the after the plane crash. Of course, Rosington and Collins formed the Rosington Collins Band. I don't know if you're able to squeeze in a snippet of their big hit, which is "Don't Misunderstand Me." But boy, that was a real huge hit for them in that little hiatus interim period. And a lot of people thought it sounded, similar to the Lynyrd Skynyrd stuff, but they were, of course, very careful to try to tell people that they were not, like Lynyrd Skynyrd Reborn. So going so far as to have the lead singer be a female. Yeah.
Well, here's some of Don't Misunderstand Me from Rosington Collins Band.
So good.
Well, I know where you go. I see where you've been. Don't you know by now you gotta take life on the chin. Still you sit and wonder why the past is gone. Baby, you'll go under if you don't carry on. Don't misunderstand me. I realize it ain't easy to take, but you've been hiding and I've been riding like the wind to find you, babe. Just you.
And then in the next verse, here comes Gail, the female singer.
I don't need no promises, just tell me the truth. Mister, keep it honest, that's all I ask of you. Don't be second guessing about where you gonna be. Baby, count your blessings, 'cause you won't never like me. Don't misunderstand.
And they ended up getting married.
Okay.
She and Rosington, Gary Rosington, and I believe she's still one of the female backup singers that we are going to see when we see them on Saturday.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, I believe she's still in the touring cast as like one of their female backing vocalists.
Wow, no, I've never heard this song before.
It's a great song.
Yeah.
I really like it. It was sort of, they were kind of a one-hit wonder. I mean, they didn't really have the real songwriting, power and appeal that apparently the other combination had. But it was, a fun little adventure in that little interim.
Well, speaking of female singers, Dolly Parton released a cover of Freebird. So that in
I read that.
in 2023, so that'd be something to check out.
Yeah.
But we don't have to play Freebird again, otherwise the show would be over.
I would.
Yeah, I wonder if her version is 9 minutes too.
I bet she doesn't have as blazing of a guitar solo at the end.
Maybe not.
Well,
although I'll tell you this, when she got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, she almost didn't want to go in because she didn't necessarily think she was rock and roll. And she wrote a song, can't remember the name of it, but to basically almost to justify her induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And she played it that night when she got inducted, and it's good. I mean, it's really
Dolly
good.
Parton, yeah, she's like the top writer of all time.
Yeah, she's incredible.
She knows a little, just like I know a little. Do you know that song, I Know a Little?
I don't.
Oh, well, we got to play that one then.
Is that Dolly Parton?
No, this is
That's
Lynyrd
Skynyrd.
Yeah.
Lynyrd Skynyrd. Okay.
And yeah, such a weird spelling of the name. It's just like how many Y? They got 4 Y's in the name.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, who knows? Oh, and that's a good segue to real quickly, while he sets that up, talk about the fact that the band Lynyrd Skynyrd got their name.
Wasn't it their, let me guess, it was
got it.
one of their science teachers, right?
You're close.
Yeah.
It was their gym teacher.
Their gym teacher,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
And he was very strict about long hair and sending students to the principal's office for breaking rules and stuff. But his name was Lynyrd Skynyrd. And then also in a interesting coincidence or something, they also in the song "Hello Mutta, Hello Fada," a letter home from camp by Alan Sherman, the famous comedy songwriter.
Mm-hmm.
There is a character in that song named Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that song was from probably the 50s or the 60s, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's sort of a double, meaning or
Sure.
reason for the name of the band.
Well, I got to say, I used to think that this name was terrible, especially the way they spelled it, because they, just changed out the E's for Y's.
Right.
And it just looks goofy to me and makes it really hard to, write it and spell it right. But I got to say, in this day and age of searching for stuff online, and with all the bands out there, it makes it really easy to
Great
find
point.
them when you Google it.
Yeah.
They're not mistaken for anybody else.
must have been harder to find Pulp tickets then.
Yeah, but if you were just to search Pulp,
Orange Pulp.
and not put band or whatever,
Paper Pulp.
yeah, you would get all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
How was Pulp? You went down there to.
I went to San Francisco to see Pulp this last Monday, and they were amazing. I saw them 12 years ago, and they were doing a reunion tour then. And you hear 12 years later, they haven't missed a step. They were incredible.
I saw on your adventure you also escaped to Alcatraz.
That's right. Went to Alcatraz as well.
Nice.
And then managed to escape. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And you got to catch Soul Coughing as well?
I did, yeah. They did 2 sold-out nights at the Fillmore in San Francisco, and they were incredible, too. They haven't played together in 25 years.
It's all the original members, too.
Yeah, all original members, and they just started rehearsing like a week and a half ago, and they were as tight as ever, because I saw them a couple times back in the 90s, and they were as good, if not better, now than they were then, which I don't understand how that's possible. I mean, especially after the singer wrote a book about how much the rest of the band hates him. But they were able to put their differences aside, get back together, and play and sound better than ever. It was amazing.
Yeah,
So,
they're incredible at the Showbox last night.
yeah, I imagine. I would have gone to that, too, if it hadn't sold out before
It was sold
I
out.
could get
Yeah, I
tickets.
got tickets months ago. Yeah.
Smart. Yeah, fantastic stuff.
Yep, I saw David Cross at the Showbox too, a comedian.
Very cool.
So-
Yeah, I found out that the Fillmore is basically the Showbox of San Francisco.
Oh, really?
Okay.
I've never been down. I got to check it out.
And the Civic Center or Civic Auditorium where I saw Pulp is basically the WAMU Theater of San Francisco.
So I'll tell you,
Very similar layout.
I'll tell you real quickly.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
The Fillmore, of course, was the home of the Grateful Dead
Right.
way back in the day.
Yeah,
with Bill
legendary
Graham.
venue.
Yeah, legendary. The Fillmore West, and of course there was a Fillmore East in New York as well. But David Graham, of course, launched Grateful Dead out of the Fillmore pretty much. But also you mentioned the Civic Auditorium.
Yeah,
When
Bill
I-
Graham Civic Auditorium.
Yeah, and when I went there in 1984, it was called just the San Francisco Civic Auditorium at that point because they hadn't dedicated it to Bill yet. But I mail ordered my tickets from Seattle to get tickets for the first show of the New Year's run for the Grateful Dead down in the Civic Auditorium in 1984. I was like 17, and my aunt and uncle lived in Concord, which is out in the East Bay area. So got on the BART train, went into the city by myself, went to the show. But that's a great little venue. I actually really like that Civic Auditorium.
It's a pretty big venue, I would say.
Well, yeah, okay. So maybe
Maybe they're renovating.
I mean, it's
since
not
then?
It's like
it's not
medium.
arena size, but
Right.
at least as big as the WAMU Theater, which I think
Sure,
is
sure.
pretty good size
It's a medium venue.
venue. Yeah,
yeah. But I think it's a cool venue.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Cool little venue. Well, that's cool. I'm glad you had a good time down there. That's cool.
Yeah, well worth traveling for both of those bands, I would say.
Yeah.
I'm glad you had fun on your trip. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Very cool.
Yeah. And then, tonight kicks off another run of shows because you're seeing the Jimi Hendrix Experience at the Paramount.
That's right. Yep. I'm going to go see the Experience Hendrix show, which is Kenny Wade and Shepherd and Eric Johnson, and local star Aaron Jones is going to be there among many others. Taj Mahal, I think, is going to be there. So it should be real fun.
And Tacoma has Jefferson Starship. So there's
Wow.
so many great bands. Casey Musgraves is on Friday. Saturday, Lynyrd Skynyrd, ZZ Top. That's What a Bill. Then Sunday's Steve Miller Band at the fair. That's the last night of the fair, Washington State Fair. Monday is going to be a huge show starting at 5:30. Linda Linda's, Rancid, Smashing Pumpkins, and Green Day.
Yeah, that's
So,
going to be fun.
Yeah, the next few days are going to be great.
Yeah.
We should get back to our topic here, Lynyrd
Lynyrd.
Skynyrd.
Well, here's a little of I Know a Little, since you shouted it out before.
Right.
Not a single, but a popular track from them.
Well, the bigger the city, well, the brighter the lights. Bigger the dog, well, the harder the bite. I don't know where you been last night, but I figure, mama, you ain't doing right. Say, I know a little. I know a little about it. I know a little. I know a little about it. I know a little about love. Maybe I can guess the rest. Well, now I don't read that daily news, 'cause it ain't hard to think of what people gets the blues. They can't dig what they can't use, if they stick to the simple, be much less abused. Say, I know a little. Lord, I do know a little about it. I know a little. I know a little about it. I know a little about love. Maybe I guess the rest.
Another track from Street Survivors.
So they released an album in 2023 called 50 with the Y's replacing the I's, and that has 50 songs on it.
Wow.
And it's some of their top ones. So
Yeah, you know, they really didn't bother the Billboard Hot 100 charts after 1978, but around 1987 they started scoring hits on the mainstream rock charts. And in 1987, they released a song called Truck Driving Man, which went to number 12 on the mainstream rock chart. So let's hear some of that.
Well, I'm trucking on down from Memphis, cruising down to New Orleans. Yeah. Tonight it seems so long with the Cajun Queens. Well, there's smoke from stacks blowing, and you don't care where he's going. The only time he feels right is when he's rolling. He's got a romance in his hand, Lord, driving just as hard as he can, yeah. Trying to dodge all the scales, man. Well, I'm talking about a truck driving man. Yeah, he'll always give you the best that he can. White clothes and Corvette, oh yeah, that's all that he needs, and it's all right by me. Truck driver man.
It's a good trucking song, yeah.
Yeah, kind of straight up barroom blues kind of sound to it. And I got to admit, I wasn't familiar with that at all, but not a bad tune. Swamp Music was the follow-up to that in 1988, and that was number 16 on the mainstream rock charts.
Oh, the humidity is rising. I
Yeah.
feel it. Look out for them alligators. And they're used to swamps because they're from Jacksonville, Florida.
Right.
All alone when I heard that telephone ring, and there on the line was a friend of mine who said he wasn't doing a thing. So we're stepping out on the town tonight, the party where the drinks are free. The sweet young thing ready and waiting on me. Yeah, you young fine, strike you blind.
Very out of step with what was happening in 1988. So kind of surprising that it was this successful. But, I mean, you got stuff like George Thorogood, having success around that time as well. So, they just basically stuck to their guns. So got to give them respect for that.
Yeah.
And George Thorogood was awesome, opening up for John Fogerty a month
Right.
ago. A month to the day ago.
He's bad to the bone.
Yeah,
He's still bad to the bone.
Still can't pay the rent, though.
And out the door he went.
He's like, well, we got four gentlemen on stage. He said, I'll do anything to be in show business. And
Anything.
that's how I feel.
And he means it.
I'm the same way. I'm like, I'll build that stage if it needs to be.
I made a mistake here, guys. I flip-flopped Swamp Music with Smokestack Lightning. So
I was like, set this.
that was a
music.
little bit of Smokestack Lightning, which went to number 2 in 1991 on the mainstream rock charts. Let's hear some of that Swamp Music that I was talking about before.
Yeah, it's more swampy.
Yep.
I think I recognize this now.
This went to 16 on the mainstream rock charts in 88.
Gonna watch me hound dog get chased home. Well, I'm going down to the swamp. Gonna watch me hound dog get chased home.
But it's even more surprising than that previous song that we heard, Smokestack Lightning, released in 1991, even more out of step with what was happening musically in the world, was so successful.
Yeah. This song right here, I'll tell you, there are wild rumors out there, or maybe I'm just creating a rumor right now, but there's a song by Fish, the band Fish, called Possum, and I swear to you, it's taken from this song. Yeah, I mean, it's like the melody and stuff. The beginning is almost exactly like, yeah.
They're like
that song.
9-minute songs. Well, I think we could do 90-minute songs.
Fish, yeah, turn it into a like 25-minute jam or something. But anyhow, very similar to this one. But this is a great song.
Start singing. I ain't got damn big old city blues.
So they definitely seem to have some real late period success. Unlike a lot of bands, by the time they get into 15 years
Sure.
into their career,
Yeah.
I mean, especially when they've had so many members. Well, unfortunately, some of them passed away, of course, early on because of that plane crash
Right.
you mentioned. But so many lineup changes. So good for them. I mean, that they kept on going and kept on seeing, some success.
And they kept it simple.
That's right. They were keeping the faith, if you will.
Which came out in 1993.
Right, which was their next big single.
So that's what you saw when you saw. So you've only seen them once in '93.
Yeah. That was on that tour for the Last Rebel album, I'm pretty sure.
31 years ago. Wow. So,
Yeah.
we're just gearing up for this
That was
weekend here. Oh my goodness.
Right before you were born. Yeah. But yeah, these guys, I mean, and they sound good. They still sound great.
So this is a little bit of Keeping the Faith, which was the follow-up to Smokestack Lightning from their 1991 album called Lynyrd Skynyrd 1991.
Are you a saint? Then don't be a stranger. Will you sit down from heaven, huh? Show me the way. And if you ain't, then I'm seeing danger. You better take a minute and hear what I got to say. 'Cause I'll keep on trying to put it straight to you. You better give it straight to me. 'Cause most women seem to have a good time making a fool out of me. I'm keeping my faith. I made up my mind. I got nothing left to lose. Just lay it on the line. I'm keeping my faith. Yeah, I'll find the one who won't still be blind, who won't turn and run. I'm keeping my faith. I'm trusting in you. So don't treat me like those other ones do. Ain't no getting round.
Wow, if we went back in time to 2010, we could have seen them play with ZZ Top on the bill and the Doobie Brothers on the bill.
Yeah, there you go. I was just going to say, though, as I had mentioned earlier, Johnny Van Zant, the younger brother of Ronnie Van Zant, who was unfortunately one of those who passed away in that plane crash, took over on vocals. And as I said, he sounds a lot like his older brother. And you can hear even in that track right there, he sounds a lot like those old vocals from the old Skynyrd songs.
And
Yeah.
just like the olden days, they're just like they've changed members. They're changing their tune a little bit when it comes to the use of the Confederate flag in their shows. Since 2019, they've dropped the Confederate flag.
Good for them. Finally
Probably a
changing with
good
the
thing.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ed King was a member. He was also in Strawberry Alarm Clock.
Yeah, which had the hit
Incense and Peppermints
Incense and Peppermints.
in the
Classic.
60s. Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, no, that's awesome. Love that. That came around probably 66 or 67, right around when I was born.
Well, Call Me the Breeze.
Yeah, that's another great song that I was going to say I saw on that list that you had printed out.
Right, Eric, could you open a window and bring in that breeze?
For sure. Got to get rid of that smell.
Yeah.
Yep.
Guys, in 1993, they released an album called The Last Rebel.
Yeah.
And they did have one more top 10 U.S. mainstream rock hit. It went to number 6 on the U.S. mainstream rock charts. It's called Good Lovin's Hard to Find. Let's hear some of that.
Yeah, and as I said, this is the tour I saw him on.
And this is not a cover because that sounds like another song. Tom Petty.
Every woman's out there looking for a rich man. And every man's out there looking for a perfect 10. You can't always get what you want sometimes. So you're better off just taking what you can. Money won't make you happy, baby. And a perfect woman's son's gonna make you sad. If you think that's where it's at, then I'm telling you you're wrong. 'Cause you can have it all one day and then it's gone. You can search all of your life, still not find what you want and what you got. You're loving so hard to find.
You know, it's also hard to find.
Kind of
is-
bringing in some swinging horns. Not that they were ever a groundbreaking band, but for them, that's a real big change.
Oh, that's a departure
Yeah.
for sure.
I wonder if there'll be any horns. That'll be interesting. Well,
Maybe.
maybe for a couple songs.
Yeah, you never know.
But it'll be hard to find the original master recordings of Lynyrd Skynyrd because it was believed to have been destroyed in the 2008 Universal fire.
Oh,
Wow.
And they've spent tens of millions of dollars trying to replace what they lost. But you got to have backups.
Yeah, you always have to have backups, multiple backups usually.
And in different places.
Yeah,
The 3x2x2 reels, 3 copies of everything, 2 different formats, 2 different places.
Oh, okay.
They
Any favorite songs from you guys that we didn't get to today?
Simple Man is like about as simple as it gets. But
Yeah, and that's the name of the tour. It's
Yeah.
the Sharp Dressed Simple Man tour.
you know that one, of course, right?
Yeah. Well, let's play some of that right now.
Mama told me when I was young, sit beside me, my only son. Listen closely to what I say. And if you do this, it'll help you some sunny day. Oh, take your time. Don't live too fast. Troubles will come. They will pass. We'll find a woman.
Yeah, I think this is probably my favorite song by them.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, sadly, we are running out of time today. Got a song that you think we should go out on?
Well, I did like the version of Simple Man by Shinedown, but for
Did we talk about Call Me the Breeze?
yeah, Call Me the Breeze might be a good way to end it.
All right.
It's a good song to move along. Well, yeah, you have any announcements, Darren?
Well, I mean, obviously the standard stuff, the Facebook page.
Your
we wanna
YouTube
make sure-
channel is blowing up, 1 million views and counting.
Yep. Just went over the 1 million view mark on YouTube/DoTrain. And then you've got your channel.
Yeah, Viva ENT Rock Talk Radio, Rock Pop and Soul Facebook group. Big community, growing bigger by the day. My YouTube channel just surpassed 30,000 subscribers.
Wow.
A milestone.
That is
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, Devin Creisler Studios, 11,000 band videos and counting. there's just so many great shows coming up. We're going to go see Weezer, but there's also Bonnie Raitt that night. Larry David's coming to town that night, October 4th.
I'm going to go see Penn and Teller
Yeah, that's coming.
with Marianne.
Nice.
And then
Breaking. We were going to go see Jane's Addiction and Love and Rockets, but no more after
no
their
more
big.
no more Jane's Addiction after the incident on Friday the 13th.
Yeah, two of the members got into a fight on stage, which is never good for anybody.
Yeah.
Just
And
say
then,
no to violence, kids.
You said that Battersea is trying to record some new songs. Is
Yeah,
that right?
we're working on new material and hope to have some shows in the later part of the year or early 2025 to, maybe promote those.
Yeah, perfect.
Around
Cool.
the corner.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're going to go see Breaking Benjamin and Stained instead.
And then I'm also going to go see Cyndi Lauper at the end of the year.
Oh, we're seeing that. Yeah.
yeah. So that's going to
Cyndi
be
Lauper at the December 1st, which is the same night Little River Band is now
rescheduled too.
yeah. So
Right.
the way she goes. But things are moving along in Showtember. Summer's wrapping up, but I think it's a great way to end the summer is ZZ Top and Lynyrd Skynyrd. That's the last summer show, isn't it? Or,
Yeah. It's probably right on the last day of summer almost.
Was it the 22nd's last day of summer?
Something like that.
I think you're right.
Well, then, that's the Steve Miller Band then, because time just keeps on slipping into the future. So.
That's right. It floats away like the breeze.
Like the breeze.
Yes. So let's go out today with Call Me the Breeze from Lynyrd Skynyrd. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Have a wonderful week.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming on again, dude.
Thanks, yeah.
Call me the breeze. I keep blowing down. Well, now they call me the breeze. I keep blowing down. I ain't got me nobody. I don't care if me no Ain't no change in the weather. Ain't no